Welcome back to another episode of Sisters Talk, where we are sisters and we talk. And we answer your questions about topics that you guys submit. So this is really like, it's for you guys. It's your show, and we're just here living in it.
For the people, by
the people. That's what we are. We're just men of the people.
So, if you're wondering, maybe you're wondering where Lisa is, and you're definitely wondering where Kath is. But you know the answer, right? Lisa, not pregnant, gave birth, maternity leave. Kath, pregnant, rough pregnant day, not working today.
Yeah, she's
So we're
chilling.
here. We're here with the origins of our band.
The origins.
If you know, you know.
I don't feel like anyone knows.
Did I talk about this in my story time?
I don't think you did. I don't think anyone knows.
I did. Okay, I really hope I did, because I've been doing a story time, I don't know if you guys know.
For years and years.
I've been doing a story time on Patreon about the origins of our band, and I think I said this is the origins of our band right here. Actually, you guys wouldn't realize that. You'd think it was me, Kevin, and Lisa were the original members, but it's actually
it was us.
Us. We did nothing as a band, but we were.
You were like 9.
All right, let's get into this. So you guys submitted the topic, dealing with rejection.
Oof, that is a tough one, bros.
That's a good one. We all go through it. Who hasn't been rejected?
Nobody.
Just kidding, I've been rejected. We've all been rejected, okay? We all know what it feels like.
Yes.
So, let's get your guys, I don't know if, are they questions, topics?
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys submitted all the talking points, basically, the topics we're going to cover with this. So, first one is from Isabel, and it says, how do you stop blaming yourself for getting rejected?
Oh, oof. This is a tough one because I know the feeling. Because you want to make it about you, so it's like under your control subconsciously.
You're instantly like, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
So think about yourself. What would you say to
yeah.
yourself? Be like, oh, it's because I'm not
this enough.
I'm not pretty enough. I'm not interesting enough.
I'm not smart enough.
I'm like
I'm
not good enough.
Not good.
This other girl's
That's
better
why
than
he doesn't
me.
like
Whatever.
me.
It's like, oh, it's because of me automatically.
No, yeah. And that's what we want to think, because that puts all the power in our own court. But really, it's not anything that either person really has this control over in rejection in a lot of ways. It's like either it's a good match or a good fit, whatever it is, whether it's a team, date, friendship that you want to pursue, like any kind of rejection. You want to, like, it's out of our control.
Oh yeah, that's
a lot.
good point. Sometimes it is about you, and sometimes it's not.
It's really,
so
yeah.
how do you wait? So then, how do you get? That's a good point.
There's different ways.
It's about you. It doesn't mean like you did something wrong.
And it doesn't mean that
There's
you
the
are
key.
a reject and that you did something horribly wrong.
So we're kind of rephrasing your thing. You asked a good question. How do you not make it about you? And we're saying you don't actually have to not make it about you. What you have to realize is actually that even if it were about you, which it may not be, that doesn't mean you're a bad person or you are fatally flawed or you're not valuable as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the core of the question,
the situation wasn't for you in whatever way.
Which is like acceptance, which is
hard.
Yeah, it's like people
Rough.
like different things. It doesn't mean that what they don't like is bad. It's just they like something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rejection, so it's a little confusing, but I think that's a big key.
It's something that if you can get a hold on, like, experiencing it and how to, like, process it, that will help you for your entire life. And it will be so helpful for you.
Yeah, acceptance. Next is from Emily. How to reject someone's help or advice when you didn't ask for it or want it without hurting their feelings or without coming across as a horrible person.
It's just really funny.
Coming across as a horrible person.
You are, first of all, you're not a horrible person because you don't want someone's help or advice when you didn't ask for it.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't make someone a horrible person.
Like, we have boundaries, and it's like sometimes unintentionally people are like giving you help or advice, but that's like not what you wanted or what you asked for. So you kind of have to be like, okay, this person really wants to help. So first you start out by that. You could start by even saying that, like, hey, I know it's, what is it, an age or old, a women and men struggle where women just want to talk about something, men just want to give advice to. But
which I don't agree with,
yeah,
personally.
It's an age
but
old
it is pretty,
struggle.
Okay, that actually is kind of true, just not in my case.
Yeah.
It is
like,
pretty common.
People want to give advice, they want to be helpful. Maybe just start by saying, like, I understand, like, you want to be here for me and you want to be helpful, but this is just not the way that I want to be supported right now, or that's going to help me in my journey right now.
Well, I have a good question with this question, which is, do you actually have to reject it? Sometimes you actually don't even have to reject it. You're just like, thanks for your input. I'll make my decision or whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks for your input. It's helpful to have more perspectives.
And also, are you wanting to reject help because you want to do everything yourself?
There's a lot. We have a lot of questions and breaking down this because you may not even need to reject in the first place. Like, you may not do their advice, but you don't necessarily have to tell them that.
Yeah. Or
sometimes you might have to, because they might be like,
you might be so annoyed you literally can't listen anymore.
You might have to say like,
You're like,
I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I
don't want advice.
I actually
right
don't
now.
want advice.
Yeah, thank you
just
so
wanna
much
do
for
this
trying to be
myself.
helpful. Yeah.
You don't have to understand why, but I just don't want advice. I don't want help with this. I just want to do it myself.
And you could say like, hey, I think I didn't make this clear when I started talking to you, but I probably should have said in the beginning, like, I actually just wanted to like vent about this, and I actually don't really need advice right now. I really appreciate that you wanted to give me advice, but I just don't need input on this right now. So you could say that, or you may not need to say anything. And then without hurting their feelings, that's out of our control.
Yeah,
TBH. That's the truth. That's always a tough one, because it's like, I want to do blank without hurting someone's feelings. Well, you aren't in control of their feelings, so that's the problem.
All you can do is just try to be as respectful and like kind as possible in that moment.
That's like, how can I go outside today without it raining? Well,
you don't control the weather.
You can't guarantee
that it won't rain.
You could have an umbrella, you could stay inside, you can do these things, but you can't be like, how can I make it not rain today? Yeah, it's a problem. So I think that kind of covered that one. Francesca, how can you comfort someone else who got rejected?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
What?
It is tricky.
Well, I could say
if she gets rejected, oh my god.
It's bad.
In our sister group, I think this is a good example. In our sister like text, whenever we would like have some kind of rejection, or like this person's, it could be like a lot of different things. Like, I put myself out there in this way, and people were saying this about me, or people were saying this about us, or this guy said this or did this, whatever. Our sister group, we all have different like tactics, I feel like.
Yeah.
What would you say?
My tactic is not that good.
What?
But what I do, because a lot of people, they don't love it, but I just can't do anything else.
Yeah.
I just try to be like,
truth.
listen, there's a lot more to your life than just this one thing. It's not that important,
Literally.
which I think maybe is a little bit aggressive sometimes.
It could be invalidating depending on the situation, or it could be
I mean,
It
it's
depends on
true.
the personal, but I'm just
If
trying
you said
to
that
be
to me, I'd be
listen,
like,
you are not just this. So much more matters
Which is
than
nice.
just this. Like, you are more than this. This doesn't affect your worth. But some people,
they don't want to hear.
they don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Some people want to hear more like fluff, kind of. There's nothing wrong with what you
They
hear in the
just want
moment.
like comfort,
Like,
not
I
necessarily
think
like.
Kath in some, maybe not Kath. Maybe in some moments Kath would rather hear that, and then other moments she wants to hear that. Like in like more painful moments, you might want to hear something totally different than in a different moment. So I would say try to read the person. Definitely try to read the person you're talking to, because I'm not going to say the same thing to Lauren as I'm going to Amy or to Lisa and to Kath.
Yeah.
I'm going to say different things to different people because they're different people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think read the person and then be like, does it seem like can we think of an example? That would help. If someone's like, this guy, I went on a date with a guy and I really like thought we connected, and then I said, hey, do you want to hang out again?
And you never
Had
texted
again?
me back.
And he didn't respond. What would you do there?
Story of
Okay, what would you guys say? Tell me what you'd say.
I don't.
Well, okay. It also depends on how the person is reacting.
feeling about
If
it.
they're super upset.
Crushed. Go. Let's see Sarah's response.
Oh, okay.
I'm crushed about this.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, then I just let them keep talking first, and then after I get a feel for what it is, then I'm like, okay, but listen though, here's the greater picture. It's not the end of the world. He's not the last people at the picnic. He's not the only man that will ever give you a second look. Like, there's way more to your life, and more is important than that. But
Yeah.
I'd say it a little more eloquently.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's let them talk first.
think I definitely like to let people talk a lot, and I like to just listen and just be like, yeah. And then like ask like, why do you think that, or like, and how did that make you feel? Kind of like therapist. I like ask a lot of questions, let this person talk a lot, get all the feelings out, and that gives me information also on how I should respond to see like what their emotional state is. And then normally one tactic I like is just building them up and being like, to validate the feelings, be like, yeah, that really sucks. I know the feeling. It sucks to feel like you're unwanted, you're rejected, blah, blah, blah. It's not a good feeling. Like, go through that. And then I'm like, but you know, you have so much to offer. You would be a great girlfriend, whatever. You're great at this. You have a great personality. I think, and then sometimes, I don't know if this is good, but I like to offer maybe a reason. So I'd be like, you know, I think you really couldn't handle your big personality.
You know,
I think you need someone
nice.
who is like a better match for you and is like really gonna appreciate that and love that about you. Kind of give it, if there is a reason there, not make up a reason. So I would like, or maybe they have a more quiet personality. I'd be like, I think he was like too similar to you. I'm thinking of Lauren. I think he was too similar to you, and maybe someone more different would be a better match and compliment you better and appreciate you more. What would you say?
I feel like I'm not that great at comforting people, no offense to myself.
Well, I feel like you're gonna be like, you know what?
You
We're
don't
building
need
them
him. Yes.
Be like,
I'm
you know what? You're a queen.
queen.
Yes.
You have so much. I think when people get rejected, not speaking from any kind of experience, because I've never been rejected in my life, they want to feel like hopeful again. Like a big part of rejection is like you feel like you lose your hope. Never felt that. But like, and you want to feel like someone believes in you still. You know what I mean? So I think if you kind of like try to build them up, kind of like help them to hope a little bit, or like tell them how much you believe in them, that could be a good strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, is like that Amy just said. Well, I'm making a question is like, what happens when you're rejected? Like, what are you looking for? And it's like, I think you want your feelings to be validated, to know like, there's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way, first of all. Because like, oh, am I just being dramatic, this, that, and the other thing? And then you want to know there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because then you're like, there's something wrong with me. I'm a failure of a human being. Maybe that's another one.
Tough.
You're not a failure. And then you want to know that there's something good about you and you still have something to offer, and that this person or thing, whatever entity's rejection of you, doesn't mean that suddenly you have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's what you want to know, right?
Yeah.
Those things. And then we have one more.
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah. Did you find it difficult to trust people after being rejected, and how did you overcome this? That's a great question.
I feel like I definitely did, and I don't know if I've overcome it. But it was the thing that you have to do, is you have to just keep trying. You have to, even though you're like, oh, I don't trust this, you just have to keep trying, because yeah.
What if they have a bunch of red flags? Should you try to trust?
No, I'm saying keep trying to put yourself out there, trying to keep going.
No, that's a good thing.
Like,
I was just trying to like set you up.
Yes.
So like if you see a bunch of red flags,
then you should trust your instincts and be like, oh, this is not going to be a good.
you learn more to trust yourself.
Yeah, because
You build your trust with yourself.
Yeah, and something that Lauren was saying to me is like, you can't trust something initially as much as you want to or think that you can. So don't go into things thinking you can trust everything. Go in being like, okay, we're just going to take it day by day, moment by moment, just see what comes up, you know? But that's kind of what I'm thinking. You have to keep going, keep trying to trust, and keep your like eyes open, you know?
I don't know that I really experienced that, because I'm really optimistic somehow, where I'm like, well, maybe this time. Well, maybe this time. Well, maybe this time. So, I don't know. I just live in a delusional future where, oh, then it will be good later. So maybe this time.
Yeah, you didn't close yourself off immediately because you were hurt, right?
But I do, but I have like, if we're talking about like guys rejecting me, yes, that's happening a million times, okay? People are like, you don't know about rejection. Yes, I do. Millions of times, okay? But I kind of I definitely got in a place of feeling like it's never gonna work. Like, oh, this guy maybe, but probably just gonna get rejected again. But I still tried anyway, so like, well, I never know.
Trust is a difficult thing. It's something that I talk to Nick, my husband, about a lot, because because he's human, every human struggles, but he has like his own unique ones that I feel like I've talked to him about a lot. And with trust, it's like you can't avoid your trust being broken is the thing that's hard.
Yeah.
So you have to realize human beings are going to break your trust forever. So then it's like, okay, that's depressing. So why am I even going to try? Well, because we're all humans and not robots, we're all going to make mistakes, right? So then we have to figure out, okay, if people are not going to be 100% perfectly trustworthy 100% of the time, flawless robots, then what are my options here? Okay, A, never trust a human being again, never connect someone ever again. B, learn how to find someone who you can actually trust. So learn to spot the signs that you missed before because you don't have life experience yet and you're learning. Learn to spot how someone is trustworthy. And we've talked about this before. Trust them in small ways first. Oftentimes we'll make a mistake of trusting someone in a huge way first, and then they break our trust and we're like, wow. Then you're mad at yourself. You're like, I didn't actually even know them well enough to know if I could trust them with that.
Yeah.
And I did. So that's where I'll leave that.
Yeah, I also think the most important part of that is building up a community around you that can help you deal when your trust gets broken. That's another thing, because another thing is like, oh, how am I going to deal with this? Like, this is so painful. But
That's
if you
true.
have a strong community who you can open up to and who you can, like, trust, and you have a lot of different sources that you can go to at different times, different things, then it makes the rejection and trust so much easier to deal with, because you're like, well, at least I'm not alone in this.
That's a good point. All right, guys. Hopefully this helped with rejection, something we've all experienced. So you're not alone.
Not at all.
We're just human beings, just
Living life.
living life, right?
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh.
Love.
No.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Make sure you pay attention to our posts so that you have a chance to submit your topic and be the topic we choose or be one of the questions. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Sisters Talk.
Bye.